This is official merch. This is like legit. ILLENIUM actually sold this. It was an April Fool's Day release from last year. They only released 100, and this was actually designed by me. And today I'm going to tell you the story of how I, someone with no design experience at all, happened to be able to create the most ridiculous ILLENIUM jersey of all time. I was sitting in the airport back in, I guess it was summer of 2024, and I had a layover and I was just scrolling through Instagram, and then I saw that ILLENIUM was hosting a jersey design contest. And me, I mean, I have no experience in that field whatsoever, but I had time to kill, and I was like, you know, it would be fun to enter something really goofy into this to make people laugh. And really, like, my only design experience is just like making thumbnails for my YouTube channel on Canva. So I figured, let's hop on Canva, like that's what I'm gonna do. So basically I just got all these like PNGs, like this like Supreme hat and like the money and all that stuff, and just like threw this together on top of like a blank jersey template type thing, and the end result was just ridiculous. And I mean I thought it was hilarious. I knew for a fact it wasn't going to win though, because I actually did break a few rules in the contest. So for one, all the other jersey designs were supposed to have like the 3 right here, because you know all ILLENIUM jerseys have the 3. Maybe there might be some exceptions to that, but the other thing is that this actually originally said Supreme, not Sup Meme, which obviously there's no way they could sell that without getting sued. So I knew I wasn't gonna win, like it was just a for fun kind of thing. But yeah, so I made the design, and then it probably only took me like 15 minutes, because I mean, like, look at this, it's just like PNGs thrown on top of each other. But then I posted it on my Instagram story just to see like what people thought, and people thought it was hilarious, which was what I was going for. And I know you can't see the front of this because it's in a case, but I'll show it on the screen. The front actually has Peanut, ILLENIUM's late dog, rest in peace, on the front side. And that actually wasn't originally the case. It was a cat before, just a random cat. But when I put it on Instagram, somebody DM'd me and they said, hey, you should swap out that cat with Peanut. And I was like, yeah, that's like the perfect idea. Why didn't I think of that? So I did that, and that right there, I believe, like, quite literally is how this came to existence, because if it was just the cat, I don't think that this would have ever been made. I think that like this was made in Peanut's honor. The official design name for this, which I named, is the Princess Peanut Hypebeast jersey. And I just don't, I mean, you know, if it was the cat, it just wouldn't be the same, and I don't think this would have ever happened. So shout out to the person who DM'd me, I appreciate that. And then the next challenge that I ran into is when I was actually submitting it into the contest. It required some sort of like design file thing, which I had never heard of before. I had no clue what it was, and I mean I probably didn't even have the right software to be able to generate that design file. So I had to figure out how to turn a PNG into the design file to submit it. And so I just Googled like PNG to whatever the file was, converter, and then converted it and submitted it, and it worked. But I figured, I mean, like, I knew it wasn't gonna win, and I figured like it doesn't matter if the design file doesn't actually function, because this is just for fun. Like that's the whole point. Anyway, after I submitted the design, I started to watch the contest, because you could look at other people's entries. And there were about 250 total by the time the submission deadline ended, and they were all crazy good. I mean, like, this one like stuck out like a sore thumb. Like, it was so bad compared to all the other ones. I mean, obviously, like, I was going for a comedy factor, so it stood out in that sense. But artistically, I mean, the other ones were just insane. Like, all of them, literally, they were all so good. But anyways, it was open to voting. I don't know if voting determined the actual winner of the contest, but basically this design ended up getting quite a bit of votes, and by the end of it, it ended in 3rd place, which I thought was crazy. I mean, that was awesome for me, and I thought that was it. I thought that was like the end of it. Like, cool, I had my fun. Yeah. But that was not the case. So I think the voting ended in like August of 2024. And then they announced the winner like soon after. and the winner got like their jersey turned into like an official jersey. I think ILLENIUM like wore it on stage for a show, plus some other like free perks like free ILLENIUM tickets and things like that. So yeah, anyways, I had my fun. That was that. Kind of forgot about it, moved on. Anyway, fast forward to the middle of March 2025, and I get an email from someone from the design contest company saying, hey, I'm here with like, he introduced me to a member of ILLENIUM's team, and he was like, ILLENIUM likes your design and wants to work with you. And I was like, what? That's crazy. I was not expecting that. And then he told me like, we want to do a limited release for April Fools, which perfectly fitting. Like that makes total sense, given just how ridiculous this is. But I was like, yeah, like let's do it. What do you need from my end? This is the craziest thing ever. I'll do whatever I need to like help push this to the finish line. And he asked for the design file. And I was like, oh crap. So I had to explain to him that I made it on Canva, and then it just did a bunch of like PNGs and then converted it to like the proper design file. And I was afraid that everything was gonna fall apart in that moment. But the guy was like, oh, it's all good. Like if you could just send me like the source files that you used, like all the pictures, we can recreate it. And I was like, yeah, like that's perfect. So I sent everything over. And this final product is actually slightly different than the design that I submitted. The ILLENIUM, this is like the official ILLENIUM lettering. Mine was just some like Canva text. So it looks like a little different on my design. They changed the Supreme to Sup Meme so they don't get sued, which is probably smart on their part. And I think that's it. I think it's just the Supreme and the letters. And then obviously like they had to reposition everything, but I mean it looks pretty much the same as how I did it. This all happened like 2 weeks before release date, and on April 1st, like when it came around, I was just patiently waiting. He posted it and it sold out within like 2 minutes or something. It was super fast. And then like a bunch of people on Twitter were talking about like, is it real? Is it an April Fool's joke? And yeah, I think a lot of people thought it was a joke for real, but it wasn't, obviously. However, it was a pre-order. They hadn't made them yet, and there was a I guess a snag with production, and they didn't get shipped out until September, I believe. So I think that kind of like added to all the people saying that this was not actually real. And I knew like as soon as it dropped, I knew I wanted to make a video telling the story, because no one really knows like how this happened. But I had to wait to get my own because I wanted to like be able to show it in the video, and there was actually like a delay with that. And I actually just got this like a couple weeks ago, maybe, or like last week, because they actually had to end up making another one. So there's actually 101. Fun fact: this is the 101st instead of 100. But yeah, they had to make another one specifically for me, and then obviously like wait till ILLENIUM had enough time to sign it right there. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it and like how it came to be. I still can't believe it, honestly. It's nuts that this goofy design that I made is actually an official ILLENIUM jersey, which is just, it's insane. It's mind-blowing. And the crazy thing is there are actually companies selling bootlegs now. So I found some knockoffs online, and I feel like that's an honor, honestly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If this is your first time here, my channel is called Audio Eats, and I mostly make like documentaries about like the history of various artists, how they came to be who they are, and like make the music they make, documenting just their whole journey to get to where they are today. I also have some other random electronic music content thrown in throughout, but it's mostly documentaries, probably like 80%. So anyways, yeah, that's I guess that's all I have to say.